Techify HR allows you to customize the allowance types available in the system, whether that might mean adding new allowance types or even customizing the types that are there. Let's have a look at, let's have a look at our director Josh here. And let's say we wanted to add an allowance for Josh. We'll see there are a host of pre-built types within the system. And then of course we might know that it's a very straightforward way to add a new allowance type directly using the form here. But let's look at this in some more detail. If you go to settings, allowance types, this is within the employees module, you'll see a list of all allowance types in the system. And then you can then filter by enabled or disabled types, and you can even search for them. So, let's say we wanted to search for duty allowance. There you go. You can pull up that allowance type. And generally adding types are fairly straightforward. So we've decided to, let's say we wanted to keep all of our directors up to date with the latest trends in business, and we wanted them to read the latest magazines for Forbes or whatever it might be. And maybe we want to give them a magazine allowance. So by default, we won't have magazine allowance here. And of course, I know you'd want to use education allowance, but let's just say it's magazine for simplicity. To add this new type, we can just hit magazine. I'll go ahead and hit save. And there you go. You see we have magazine as a type of allowance. Now you will see something slightly different here in that for the magazine allowance, we have the ability to edit or delete this allowance, but we don't have that ability with the other types. And that's because the other allowance types are system level allowance types and you cannot modify those. But for magazine, this is the type that you've added. You can go ahead and modify those. Now, if I go back to, let's go back to this director's profile, and I wanted to add this magazine allowance for him. You can see it's a 15,000 magazine allowance, non-taxable, recurring. Just hit save, and we see that allowance type got added. And of course, if I go to our other director's profile, once again, I can add a new allowance of our new magazine type that we added in there, and that's the most basic level of customization that you can do on allowance types. The other thing that you can do is that you can disable types of allowances that you don't want to show up. So if we go here, once again, you'll see magazine, you'll see all the system types, and this might add confusion to your organization. Maybe you don't allow all of these allowances. So if we go back to our allowance type list, let's assume we don't allow acting, uniform, duty, hardline. So acting, let's turn that off, duty, hardline, uniform, subsistence, and this overtime allowance is a bit of an ambiguous one, so we'll go ahead and disable that, right? Because our organization doesn't allow those. And one cool thing that you would see here is that for each allowance type, you'll see the number of allowances that you have within the system of that type. So you'll see the ones that I disabled. Acting, we have 0 allowances, hardline 0, overtime 0, subsistence 0, and uniform 0. So these are types that are not used. Now if I refresh this page, there you go. We'll see those types now disappear because I'm filtering by enabled only. And if I click on disabled, you will see them show up back. But you know what? I don't really want to see the disabled types. So there you go. We only have 15 allowance types now available within the system. And if I go back to an employee's profile and I click add, what we'll see is that those allowance types that we just removed are no longer available. So if I search for acting, that's no longer available here. If I search for uniform, again, no longer available here. So that's how you can control this list, and you might even want to customize this and further reduce it. Maybe we don't do laundry allowance, and maybe we don't do medical and dental allowance because we already have insurance. Maybe we don't do station allowance. All right, and once again, if I go about here. Let's refresh this page. We'll see that those allowance types disappear. So our list is now a lot cleaner, and maybe we don't do education and either, right? And if I go to add allowances here, we'll see that our list is now once again a lot shorter than before. Right, so that's how you can customize the list of allowance types that are available for your organization. In the next video, we'll go through the taxes part of the allowance type customizations.